and gentlemen, welcome to episode 9 of Kingdom of Kodiak. I am Kodiak, and with me today is co-counsel of the Order of the Ash, Squire, Devric Stormcrest, the Blade Singer. Thank you.
Hi.
How you doing, Devric? Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it sounded like we didn't just talk to each other yesterday or anything, but
Yeah, no, definitely didn't.
All right. Well, you're here. Let's get to those bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. All right. So how long have you been playing the game?
How long have you been playing the game?
About 2.5 years.
So add like 2 or 3 months to that. Like 2 months,
So,
I think.
Yeah, Devric, Devric and his wife and one of his coworkers and I all kind of found each other at the same time with 2 other park members. But
Yeah,
we'll get into that.
Yeah, we all started playing around the same time.
We'll get into that. All right. Devric Stormcrest. Let's talk about the name. Where does it come from?
So Devric was actually my placeholder name for a while. I was originally going to play a persona that had more of like a Greek-Roman feel to it. Definitely not because I was interested in the new Assassin's Creed trailer at the time that it just dropped. But people started calling me Devric because that's what I put on the thing, and it stuck. And I was like, you know what? It'll work. Why change it now? Stormcrest was something that I took after I got my belt. My great Grand Knight is Goldcrest, and I just am kind of a sucker for starting traditions and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all of anyone who takes my belt happens to be a male, I'm going to ask that they take a crest last name. So, and
you want to expand upon that tradition? Because I know there's another side to that as well.
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
If somebody wants a belt, they'll find out. It's fine.
Oh, okay. All right. Sounds good. What would you say is the award that you're most proud of receiving?
Probably a toss-up between getting my Man-at-Arms belt or my custom title Blade Singer that was given to me by someone. Probably a toss-up between the two of them. The Blade Singer title, I think, probably means that one means a lot to me. It was for something that I was already a part of and did pretty regularly. Mm-hmm. So,
okay, fantastic. Do you want to give a shout out to your knight while you got a chance, since you mentioned that you're belted?
Ruth, I'm on here.
Deem Annabelle Lee, thanks for keeping kayfabe real there, Devric.
You're welcome.
All right, so 2 more of the bare necessities, and we'll move on to the general questions. What would you say is your favorite kind of battle game?
Isn't that a bare necessity?
Well, it is. 2 more questions of the bare necessities, and then we'll move on.
Man. So my favorite type of battle game, probably squad battle games. Like you get a group of like 3 or 4 squad members to group up and perform like an objective or something like that. I like kind of the small team cohesion. But my favorite battle game is the one I made, or not the one that I made, but the one that I named, called Make the Soup. Sir Sane had a throwy that was supposed to be a tomahawk, but ended up looking more like a T-bone steak.
Mm-hmm.
And one of our other park members had a sword that kind of looked like a carrot. And the goal was to get the carrot and the steak and bring them to your side to make the soup. And it was always a blast. We always had a whole bunch of fun.
Adding a little bit of the slight role play to it. It was super fun. Okay, now you're going to tell me what your favorite class is and explain to me why it's not as good as Druid.
My favorite class is Scout. It's, I think, to me, the probably my favorite class to play currently, even if it is a little underpowered. But it's, to me, the best intro class to the game because it gives you a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. You get to learn sort of your basic weapon skills and you get to learn a little bit about casting, doing the healing cant, doing the release and that sort of stuff and how that works. And it's just all around much better than Druid.
No, it's a good class. I know that there's been a couple different conversations between you and I, and then when we talked with Kron before about this becoming maybe the first hybrid class of Amtgard, where it's kind of like a half caster.
Be super cool.
You and Kron both make it a lot of fun to watch. Never to put a sash on, but to watch. So, all right. So, a couple of general questions just for the audience at home. Dragonspine and Kingdom of Kodiak has some questions that we have to ask our guests. Morgan asks about the toaster that's supposed to go to Sir Glenoth.
So I say everybody buys Sir Glenoth a toaster and we just all give them to him.
Okay. So guys, now it's
70,
no longer
80 toasters just show up at his door one day. And we could go to Walmart. They have $15 toasters. We could all go get one and send it to him.
There it is, Kingdom of Kodiak fans. The meta's been changed. Now we're all just going to buy and give Sir Glenoth multitudes of toasters, so he'll never ask for toasters again. Stillhell asks your thoughts on bears.
My best friend's a bear. I mean, they're just guy. They're really annoying. Pain in the ass. They're all right.
Thanks. Appreciate it. And you may know this person. Squire Magnahild asks, what cultural differences do you notice between playing Amtgard in the Iron Mountains, which is where you currently are, and Dragonspine, which were your previous home?
If I could come back to Dragonspine, I'd be back at Dragonspine. I'll leave it at that. I like the Iron Mountains, but Dragonspine's my family. I miss you guys.
No, we miss you too. Okay, so Devric, we brought you on to specifically talk about your household, which is the Order of the Ash. You are co-counsel with me.
I am?
Well, I mean, that's what the paperwork says.
Okay.
So let's get into some of this stuff. Can you tell us about the creation of the Order of the Ash and maybe talk about that one unique thing that we do for new people coming in?
So the Order of the Ash, good boy. When was that tournament that we started at? It was
3 months in our mid-reign.
Yeah, it was probably like March. It was like March 19th, sometime around there of 2018. Mm-hmm. We all went to our first tournament. And we were fighting in the 5 and under, 4 and under category, I think it was.
Yeah.
And we spent the entirety of an afternoon getting our butts handed to us over and over and over again. And our king at the time, Sir Baihu, was so impressed with how honorable all of us were on the field. He gave all of us a griffin, or had Emmer give us all a griffin. And it was, on the drive back to El Paso, because me and Magnahild and Locke would all drive from El Paso to Las Cruces every single Saturday to play at Dragonspine. I was driving back and I messaged you and I said, hey, you know what I heard about today while we were hanging out and eating at this our first feast? It's like, somebody explained the difference between a household and a company. We should have a household. And we just started stacking rules on it, and things just kind of snowballed from there. But originally our household was about honorable fighting, honor on the field, and it later became more about service and honor instead of just honorable fighting, because we have some members who fighting's not really their thing. But all of it, that's how it started, though. It was an honor fighting household. Some of the unique things about us is we all take oaths on a tree. If you go to the Order of the Ash page, we actually have our newest members swearing in on the tree and taking the oath. and I'm not going to go through the whole oath here because
it's
if
ours.
if you really want to see it, there's a nice little video of it. But it's we came up with it. Man, how did we come up with the oath? The oath was something that came up when we were talking about starting traditions.
Yep.
And the reason we swear on a tree is because the ash tree, the Yggdrasil, the world tree, is the main portion of our heraldry.
That's it's all there. So Zana wanted to know, on top of that kind of thing, do we have a role play story or history for our household?
I'm a ditch monkey, so I don't. I mean, like I try to role play when it's necessary, or people want me to, but I don't. Amp-Guard roleplay really isn't a big thing for me. I roleplay at D&D, so but my housemates are currently working on their own lore for the Order of the Ash, and they want to put something together, and I fully support them doing it. I'm just no good at it.
He's so good at it, and he just doesn't care. So we talked about the creation of it, roughly the time it started. So that kind of covers the when. But how did it come together? You talked about calling or texting me on the way back to El Paso. Give me the how and the why.
The how and the why. So at the time, when we started the idea, it was just a way to kind of like hang out with our friends in Amp-Guard, to kind of like collect ourselves a little bit. About 3 weeks in though to our inception, a couple of really bad things happened to a handful of members. I won't get into the other members' issues, but for me personally, my work, for those of you that don't know, I'm in the Army, and the unit that I was with at the time was like second for suicide rates, I think, at that point in time. And it was just like going to work was wake up, get in the car, think about putting a gun in my mouth, get to work, step outside, think about putting a gun in my mouth, all the way through the entire day. And my only relief came when I would show up to Park Saturday. Kodiak, if you want to talk about your sad story instead of me. I know it's an interview of me, but I don't want to.
I mean, it's fine. For anyone who doesn't know, my first, after 3 months of starting Amp-Guard, I was in a divorce. So the first set of people I called was Nick or Devric and Magna Hilda Bach, because I found out after Park that it was happening. And, we came together pretty strong, and we were each other's support, and it forged pretty strong brotherhoods, I would say.
Yeah, well, it basically the household came together through hardship. Like it became, we would all hang out in Park and fight, and then we would hang out at the mall a little bit, and then we would go over to Sir Randall's house to play games. And that was like our only release from just an awful weekday.
Yeah.
And it was like that for probably 4 or 5 months, where we were just all inseparable. I moved, obviously, but it was, that's why when people ask me, like, why do you care about Amp-Guard? Like, Amp-Guard was something that was there for me when I had my wife, and that was it.
Yep.
I had nothing else. So
it's a deep part of the how and why,
no.
but the order that's it is. It really is. It's a real tough spot to get through, but we got there. So we talked about the how, the why, the when. Let's get the founding members out of the way here. Who's and how is that distinguished for people that want to see it?
So we found some bear in the woods. We strapped 2 swords to his hand, and we said he could join. I don't know what happened to him. It's obviously the current monarch of Dragonspine, Kodiak Rex. Myself, my wife, Magna Hild, Mags, for those of you who know her, or Alexa, for those of you who have seen her in the chat and stuff like that. And Locke, who is my work friend who was going through the same stuff at work with me at the time. And then Unari from Dragonspine proper and his son, my page, Wisp, who started at the same time as us and just kind of meshed right in with us. Later on, those are actually the 6 stars that are in our banner around the ash tree. If you look at our sigil, those 6 stars are the 6 founding members. Can I just talk about the other members as we go?
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, it's a question later on, but yeah, that's fine.
So after that, Zero joined. Zero is Wisp's cousin who also played at Dragonspine proper. He swore in like a week after us. Like we all took our oath on the tree, and he was like, "I'm about it." And the next week, we had him in there. After that, we had our first out of kingdom member join us, which was Rada, you know who God from. She's from the Kingdom of Neverwinter. Mm-hmm. I always forget that's where she was from. Which is down in Florida for those who don't know. We met her at her first clan. She was just someone who stuck to us. So we went to our first clan thinking that we were just going to be out there on the pitch fighting, and we were going to be drinking at night. And the RP Tavern was there in 2018, and we fell into questing hard.
Yes, we did.
And that's all we did for like probably 3 or 4 days was just quest. Mm-hmm. And she was one of the other people that were out there questing, and her and my wife and Kodiak hit it off really, really well. And Locke jumped in on them, and by that time I was being carried around too doing it. So it was a really great time. Steve, Artemis Kelder, for those of you who don't know, which he's from which park?
Wyvern's Roost.
Wyvern's Roost in Dragonspine. Yep. I don't know how active he is anymore, but he's someone that reached out during a hard time and said he needed family. Mm-hmm. And we were, tried to be there as much as we could for him. After that, we have our newest member, which is Titus D. Prime. He is from California, West March, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's West March. So we actually met him the same time we met Rada. Mm-hmm. But he didn't ask to join, and so we didn't really put it out there. Right. But he asked us to join later on. And we were super happy to accept him. I think there was a little bit of a trial period there as we figured out how to swear somebody in who wasn't there right in front of us to do stuff with, but we figured it out.
Yep. And now he's one of the more active members in our chats, and super good time.
He's a meme lord.
Yeah. If I could share a quick story about Titus, we hung out quite a bit at the first clan, and I hit him in the head quite a bit with a sword because I was a really bad fighter. But then Titus and I took a special trip in Sacri's car down, because his night was the night at 2018's GOTC that was bleeding. So we had to drive down to the hospital to find him, and we spent a lot of time talking. And then we found out his knight wasn't there still. His knight had left. So we drove all the way back, and we spent a lot of time talking. So Jose and I kind of built this rapport that didn't become a household member thing, but it kept us in touch. And yeah, like you said, then he became a member of the Order of the Ash, and it's fantastic. Super great guy.
Yep. I love them. I love all our members. They're all great. Yeah, we usually end up adding about a member a year. Is usually about how it goes. We haven't added one for 2020 yet, so
applications are still being accepted.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. So you mentioned the ash tree. You mentioned the stars. Do you want to talk about the heraldry overall, or do you think that covers all of it? Or
oh man, those are the key features on the heraldry. The slash was like we threw it in there to kind of break up, the black shield. But the colors were picked because all of us are a bunch of weird little nature freaks. Like, I cannot make this up, but every single member has like this weird special attachment to trees and nature in general and stuff like that. We ended up picking the ash tree though, because that's what Yggdrasil is in lore. It is an ash tree. And we picked it literally just because all of us really enjoyed Norse mythology at the time. I still do.
Oh yeah, me too. But it could be waning with other people, but
and the shield was picked. It's gone through a couple of iterations actually. If you go to the Order of the Ash page, you can see some of the previous iterations. I think there's one posted on there, but if you do reach out, I'm more than willing to show you the 3 horrible drawings that I first made. Oof. The 2 bad paint ones that you made.
Yeah.
The nice little cleaned up ones that Alexa did. And then our final one, I think, is probably the one that's going to stay for a while.
For sure. I mean, for not having the talent, we put a whole bunch of work in there to try to get it. And, thank goodness Alexa was there to rein us in and fix it.
Seriously.
So, all right, we got through the colors. Let's talk about some of the features of the household. What are we looking for in members when it comes to someone in the Order of the Ash?
Don't be a crap person is probably number one. A big thing is it started as an honor fighting company. So sloughing is a big deal for me. Mm-hmm. I can't stand it. Don't like it. Don't like watching people do it. So if you come up to me and go, "Hey, can I join?" And I say, "No." I'll give you 2 reasons. It's either I've watched you slough shots at a tournament, or somebody has come to me and said, "Hey, I really can't stand watching this person slough," and they've shown me or had me see it happen. Because I'm not usually someone to take the word of somebody else. But if one of my other house members comes to me, I will take that heavily into account. And number 2 is the other part of the household, which is service. A big part of the game is that makes the game work is people putting time into it and doing things for people, which was shown to us in a very big way in a story that we'll probably talk about in another question. But we saw how much work went into a thing because we volunteered to help with it, and we went, "Oh, this is how and why the game works. And this is how and why the game is as good as it is." So, if you're someone not necessarily holding office, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, you need a minimum amount of volunteer hours," or something like that. But when you just helping clean up your field, helping set up a battle game, making something for a new player, or just helping a new player out, like giving your time that you could be fighting in a ditch. Because trust me, that's where I want to be, is on the field swinging bats, but taking some of your time to help your park mates is a big deal. So, and I get it. I'm a standoffish person when you first meet me too. So I'm not going to sit there and interact with everybody and talk with everybody to death. And we don't really need that from park mates, but I always try to help clean up the field. I always try to help fill positions when they need people to do it. And that's kind of what we're looking for, is someone who is at least competent enough to know how shot calling and the rules of the game work.
Right.
And someone who is willing to at least help out on their park day, like at the bare minimum, would be our 2 requirements.
For sure. So currently in I guess the Dragon Spine Iron Mountains area, there's 4 of us that are active that have contributed and participated in the animal selection, which means we have our Florida and our California members who still got to do this, but
yeah. All right. We'll talk about it. So if you guys have been living under a rock, Kodiak is a swan.
That's definitely a swan.
But all of us ended up with animals that are kind of like the fairy tale forest animals that start with a B. Kodiak is a bear. I'm a badger. Magnahild is a boar, and Locke ended up as a bison. If you guys ever get the chance to reach out to Locke Justin on Facebook, ask him about his bison jawbone club that he has. The thing is so cool looking.
Yeah. Justin, if you see this, put the photos up, please.
Yeah, please. That thing is so cool. But I'm a badger. I even have a stripe to prove it. And that's natural. That showed up because of stress. And Kodiak's been a bear since he's the first bear. I mean, bears, he's been Baron since Baron was Baron. I mean, it works. Magnahild picked a boar because of its relevance to Norse mythology, and Locke kind of solidified his when he bought that big, huge jawbone and was like, this is what I want to be. And we're like, it starts with a B, you're fine.
Yep, you're good. So for Rada and Titus, just be prepared, because that's going to be coming at some point.
Rada's probably a blackbird.
Blackbird, butterfly,
something.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Anyways, it's one of my favorite stories, because that was something that we realized after Mags picked boar, that the 3 of us had picked B1. So we're like, all right, Locke, has to be a B.
Yep.
It
was goofy.
Yeah.
It is something that happened by happenstance, but
right.
Barracuda.
Yeah. Kenjin, you're spot on, bud. Barracuda for sure. All right. So let's talk
Titus, I dubbed the bearded lizard.
Let's talk about the goals of the group.
Oh boy. Just, as far as goals of the group goes, big thing, Reeves qualified. You don't have to have your test up to date now, but at least at some point have been Reeves qualified. Understanding the rules is a big thing. I try to do my best to always take new players aside and teach them. I'm one of the first people that will stop in the middle of a battle game and be like, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. This is why that doesn't work that way. Right. And that's really just what it's about. Like, just make the game better for other people, because you should always leave something better than when you found it, period.
Look at you.
Point blank.
You're like a poet.
Nobody asked you.
Well, someone asked me. So, for the individuals in our household, what's your aspirations for them?
Grow, do your best. Like, you can only do your best every day. Like, and sometimes that's, showing up to park and giving 40% of what you got that day. But it's, it's something,
Right.
It's being someone who not only grows themselves but helps other people grow with them would probably be my aspirations for my housemates. Just be the positive force in the game.
And then, as co-counsel of the household, what about you personally?
I swing stick. I swing stick. I make sword. That's about all I can do. I'm afraid.
Oh my god.
And so the best that I bring to the park is I try to be a positive member on the field, and I try to show people anything that I can. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot to offer. End goal for me, as far as like inside of the household, would be to replace the bear at some point as head console.
Wow, shots fired.
But
Okay.
we'll see.
I know it's not my story to tell, but because he's the guest, folks. But one of my goals as the council was to try to get everyone an additional family in the game because we started off really young in Amcard. So as of to date, of the members uh, of our household, only two members do not have a belt line of some variety. And no, Nick, it does not count that you gave me my court guard belt.
No, you have a belt for me. You have two.
Yeah. He'll keep trying to sell that story. That's not true. Nope.
That's Kodiak Bear Crest.
Yeah,
right
Winter Crest. Yeah. You're a jerk. Anyways, all right. So Kenjin asked, are there any planned household activities?
We don't plan anything ever. We're kind of loud and rambly. I'm kind of loud and rambly. So we show up at an event and we do whatever we can help with.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to get as many members to events as we can. If that means picking people up, doing whatever we got to do to get everybody down to an event. We don't usually like plan things. It's been a little harder now that we've been so spread out. But when we get together, you'll know.
The world will know.
If you're at an event, and you'll know, because it'll be me sick to my guts on some type of alcohol. It'll be Locke singing exceptionally loudly, and it'll be Kodiak arguing that Batman isn't a superhero at me while I'm throwing up. Bar none.
Well, I mean, it's true. But moving on. So how do you personally maintain a positive outlook for members? Like if a member's getting down or whatnot?
I don't. So as an aside, I am not the most positive person in the world. And I'm very much one of my biggest toxic behaviors that I have personally is telling people to suck it up. Like, just deal with it. It's not my problem, it's yours. That being said, I've tried to use that in the most positive way that I can, which is keep moving forward.
Yeah.
If you can't solve the problem right now, don't worry about it. Let it slide as much as you can, and don't worry about it.
Right.
Because if you can't fix it, what's the point? What's the point in letting it get you down? Come to park, have a good time. We'll hang out. I'll hit you with a stick. Like it's that simple for me. But my other housemates are a lot more kind. Probably would be the word for that. And they are really great about helping build up newer members so that I can then take them and put them on the field, and make them forget about their problems for a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's one of the benefits to how we have it structured is I would rather work with someone and try to make sure that they're mentally okay and then not go to the field and swing stick, but throw spell balls. And, whereas you want to get them through the day, get them on the field and let the game kind of take it away from them, the stress.
All you can do is reprieve people. You can't solve people's problems for them.
Well,
Kodiak can. I can't. I don't.
So, One of the questions that was asked, I think by Gideon Farrellhart, I didn't put his name down. I'm sorry, Gideon. Has people in the order taken positions of leadership at their parks?
So yeah, we have. I mean, there's the big one, the big bear in the room, currently, who is our brand new King of Dragonspine. I'm PM at my local park right now. Magna Hill has done positions in Dragonspine before. As far as our other members go, that's for them to say. I don't keep a organized list of everybody and everything they've ever done. But leadership is a big thing for a lot of our members.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, me personally, I show up to park to swing stick. I don't really view myself as a very good or in-depth leader. As far as inside of the household, though, there's only really 3-ish ranks. There's people we're thinking about letting in are initiates. We've only ever had one, which was Titus.
Mm-hmm.
And then members, and then the consuls. Me and the bear here. And that's really it. I don't put a lot of faith in like big in-depth power structures for a household.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. Just to give you a break real quick, so Randall has given you a shout out. Well, he gave us both a shout out, but I'll let you have some of it.
That's my GM right there.
We're getting there, Nick. We're almost there.
That's Papa Sir Randall right there.
All right, so that actually answers Gideon's next question about our internal political structure. There's a council, co-council, member, initiate. That's it. For reference sake, and not to take anything away from Magna Hill, she is technically our secretary.
She runs our social media pages because she's good at it.
Yeah, she is a good social media person.
Originally, we were supposed to do elections for the consul positions every 6 months. That was a thing that we were supposed to do, but that's when we didn't understand how households work and the growth rate of a household and how that works. So we're like, we'll just keep doing it. It's not like there's a whole lot to this position anyway. So
yeah. And we're doing great. We're doing great stuff. So So here it is. This is the question. This is the one that's going to go for a while, folks. I hope you're strapped in. Can you share a few highlights of the household?
Oh God.
Give us a bunch. I don't care.
So we're the people on the picture of your Discord. That's us in the sand. That is me. Artemis, and Kodiak looking for Magna Hild in the sand dune at Dame Azriel Jade's third nighting in White Sands. We were that was our first time we had ever dressed in garb together. My wonderful knight graciously made all of us our green and black tabards. And we have I've worn mine to pretty much the threadbare. Like it's about falling apart now. Some of them have been given away to new members as they've come in. But we all showed up that day super excited to all be wearing matching garb. And Kodiak got to meet Goldcrest. And it's one of my favorite stories because he nudges me and he goes, this guy walks up to us and he goes, "You're the Order of the Ash. I've heard about you." And we were like, okay. And Kodiak was like, shaking his hand and like was talking to him. And then as the guy turns around and leaves, Kodiak nudges me and goes, "That was Goldcrest." I was like, "Who?" And he looked at me like I had shot his puppy. Like he was like, "Goldcrest, man."
I came into the game with two things I wanted to do for certain before I stopped playing Amtgard, was to meet Goldcrest and to fight Sir Glenn Mop if I got a chance. And on the same day, I did both of those. So, yeah.
It was a good day for the bear.
Yeah, for Devric to be like, "Who?" I'm like,
"I hate you." And then a good portion of our stories come from our first clan together. Unfortunately, I was deployed through 2019, so I didn't get to go to our second clan. But first clan was an absolute doozy. Like I said, we spent the majority of it questing, but nighttime was an interesting affair. It's first clan is also where we decided that service would be a primary portion of this household. My knight blew out her arm, and Kodiak agreed to help in the kitchen that night. For those of you that were there at 2018 Clan, it was the chicken pot pie, right? That's what it was. Yeah, it was chicken pot pie. And we spent like 7 hours in that kitchen with Black Lavish and Ruth, like just slaving away in that kitchen. And we were like, this is what it takes to make the game run. Oh boy. And we were like, okay, so when we can help people, we'll do it. Like, like when we can volunteer for positions and take it on ourselves, we're going to do that, because if this is what these people have been doing for years, pretty much on their own, it's ridiculous. We can help, you know? And that was a big deal. Kodiak's favorite story about me at Clan was our last night there. One of our good friends, Dom, came over. Xander the Reaper, for those of you who know him by his Amp-Guard name. He comes over to drink with us in this little circle that we had. And I had spent the last 3 nights kicking Kodiak's butt when it came to drinking alcohol, because he had been pretty much sober for 7-8 years, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And like for 3 days, I watched him stumble back up to his cabin, like just looking worse for wear. And I was like, oh, I got this dude. Last night he flipped a switch, and it just bottle after bottle went around this circle. And Edelsbeth and Black Lavish came over and brought some oranges with them. It's like, oh, I'll have an orange. I ate this orange. I was sitting there holding the peels, and Dom goes, are you going to finish that? And I looked down at the peels. I looked back up at him, and I went, what? He's like, are you going to finish that? So I ate all these orange peels. And like another half bottle makes it around, and I peel myself a second orange and I eat it. And he goes, are you going to finish that orange? So I ended up eating 2 whole oranges worth of orange peels. And I was just sitting there in my car with Kodiak and Dom outside yelling at each other about who was going to go to bed first, still drinking. And I'm just throwing up orange all over the place, like just dying. Like I thought that was it. And my poor wife is asleep next to me. And it's like, please don't puke in the car. Please don't puke in the car. This is awful. Oh, man.
If it wasn't for court that night, I think Dom and I would still be arguing about who to go to bed.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Titus actually brought up him assassinating me during the Assassins game after I tied it on my shoe. I thought I was slick, and you definitely got me. I had no clue what was about to happen. Oh man, that first clan was just a wild ride of stuff.
I'm surprised, given the clan conversations you're having, you haven't mentioned your big excitement from a certain...
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll talk about it. All right. So we had just finished in the kitchen, and I was having probably my 4th or 5th of the leftover because I was so hungry and so tired. And we were, I was eating it, and a group of people came in with papers and pencils because we were supposed to be at the Dragon Spine meet and greet. And they walk up to Kodiak and they go, hey, are you in the Order of the Ash? And Kodiak goes, yes, I am. And you're like, hey, can you sign this? And I'm kind of like curiously kind of watching what's going on. and Kodiak looks at me like after signing this paper, and he's like, I have some other order members around, and so it came up to me, and they set their sheet in front of me, and I looked at it, and it's the Dragon Spine Bingo page. And for those of you that don't know, that didn't see the Dragon Spine Bingo, it had the wheel, it had the Valkyries, it had knights on it. Like, it was just like the who's who of Dragon Spine, and we were there next to the wheel on the third column. I remember the column. I was so excited.
Yeah.
And I signed it. I got up and I looked at Kodiak and I just sprinted at him, and I jumped up into his arms, and he stood there hugging me, and I'm just screaming, "We're on the bingo, man! We're on the Dragon Spine Bingo!" And like, we just sat there, like, hopping up and down for a while, talking about how excited we were to be on the bingo. Yeah. It was such a great, like, experience, point blank period. We owe a lot to the leaders in our game at the time, who kind of kept the household where it was, because that bingo moment was like, that's it. I can die happy now. This is fine.
Well, it also gave us a reason to keep pushing, because we were basically rookies at that point, and we were getting acknowledged by the greatest kingdom in the game. You know, fight me if you don't believe it, but
Oof. Big words.
Yeah, I say big words. I'm the king of the kingdom. I'm not going to say anything else. And to get that recognition so early, and then, you know, to look over at Devric while he's eating, and, you know,
getting hugged by Baihu at Clan was another. Like,
yeah.
Just
oh my goodness.
Baihu gets out of the car and just runs and, like, just strangle hugs me and Kodiak while we're sitting there.
So if anyone remembers what 2018 Clan site looks like, that first path as you pass the main cabin, you have to go past that to go to put up campers or whatnot. And Devric and I were walking past, and Sir Baihu, Lady MacGyver, and Kira are in a vehicle. He stops it in the middle of the road to run out and give us these big hugs. And it was such a good thing.
It was just a fantastic moment for all of us. Clan was just a good year. My wonderful knight calling us up to get recognition in front of all of Clan for the work we did in the kitchen was another, probably one of my proudest moments as far as Amtgard's concerned. And we didn't even get an award for that. And I was like, hey, I don't care. Like, you know, especially with everything that was going on with my work and everything like that, like, just to have the, you know, hey, you did good today. Thank you. And I was like, I almost was in tears because of that.
Yeah. As a low light for anyone who came to last year's Clan and watched one of our members decide that they were going to try to do a half gainer off the top bunk after drinking way too much alcohol, the Order of the Ash apologizes for the actions of said player. Said player will be chastised for that action for the rest of his life.
They're drunk off the top bunk.
So let's get a little bit more on task here. Yeah. Zana wanted to ask, the Order of the Ash is on a team for a game. Describe that layout.
This one kept me up from my nap thinking about this one, Zana, so thank you. So we've never actually gotten all of us to do a big battle game together on the same side, mostly because really the only big event I've ever gotten to go to is that first Clan that we went to.
Yeah.
Because I was, like I said, I was deployed in 2019, and this year COVID happened. So I haven't gotten to do any of the fun things for 2 years now. So we would most likely be split into two categories: the skirmishers and the people that would fight on the front lines. I like fighting on the front lines. I like, you know, accidentally getting hit in the face with a spear. I, you know, enjoy that kind of stuff. Following me would probably be Alexa or Magna Hild, and probably Titus, as far as I know from what I fought with him. The rest would all be skirmishers on the outside looking for ways to pick off pesky little magic users and archers, because that's Kodiak's favorite thing to do, is to show up behind a line of archers and be like, hey guys, and roll a back line.
That's actually, not to steal your thunder here, Nick, but it's one of my highlights from Clan when we went down on the battlefield and we were fighting a straight line, and Arkin was Hansel and Gretel, and he asked us to take care of the left side of his line, and we ended up folding over their entire team. Just you and I, just we're crazy.
Yep, that was before we even knew what we were doing with fighting.
Yeah, just when we were stupid fighters. I mean, I'm still a stupid fighter. But.
Yeah, not good, not great either, friend. So yeah, no, I mean, as far as that's probably what the breakdown would be, is that we would probably split into those two groups. Rada would probably fall into the skirmisher support category. She likes her druid build. She likes Candy Druid. I said I like swinging stick and I like getting hit. So
also, since Titus is going up with you, Titus should probably show off that sick armor he's got.
Yeah, for sure, bud.
Titus, if you're listening right now, throw that armor in the chat. So especially Kenjin, I want Kenjin to see that because he'll appreciate it for sure. All right. So
can I answer a question first?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Ruth, the reason why we don't ask people to join us because we want them to ask us. We don't like usually go out of our way to ask people to join. We want you to, hey, I would like to join because I think you guys are pretty neat. That's usually our thought process there.
Right. There's one exception, Nick, but I don't want to have to tell that story.
It's the only exception, though. And that's fine.
It's fine. If you want to know that exception, you can reach out to one of us.
We don't talk about the exception. It's fine.
All right. So another question that comes up is, what complications or issues are there with such a widespread group?
Just getting everybody together. We don't have most of our members aren't drama people. Usually they're not involved in big dramatic events, and if they are, they're not, being asses about it on the Facebook pages and stuff like that, or to their park mates.
Right.
So we don't really have to worry about people being dumb. It's just not something that we have to worry about. So our biggest issue is getting everybody together. Like, we literally have coast to coast with Titus being in California and Rada being down in Florida. And the rest of us are all sprinkled throughout the middle. Locke's over in North Carolina now that he's out of the army. Like, we are, it's just hard to get everybody together. That's about it.
But with that being said, almost, I would say 4 to 5 days a week, we're either in a Discord chat or we're in the Facebook chat or something.
Yeah, a pretty big group of us like to get together and play games for various things on Discord and whatnot. There's been a couple attempts at Minecraft throughout the years. I mean, like I said, we don't really have a whole lot of issues between members. Most of us get along. Most of us deal with each other just fine. And we have the benefit of not doing a whole lot as a group anyway. Like, usually we volunteer individually instead of as a collective. But that's just us. Like, I've never had to really deal with like a serious dispute between members before.
No.
But who knows? Maybe in the future we'll have like a big, huge fight between everybody. And we'll figure out a way to deal with it then.
Yeah, then we'll figure it out and we'll let everyone know how it went. No,
I will message Zana specifically and be like, we had a big fight today. Let me tell you how it went.
I'll tell you what. No, Devric and Locke and Megs are like family at this point. I mean, obviously everyone in the household's like family, but I spent extra amount of time with Devric, Megs, and Locke because they played at my park. And after Inari and Wisp stepped away a little bit, they were still there, and Devric and I talk almost every day. So for there to be a for there to be a riff, it would be like two brothers fighting where, yeah, we'll squabble, but we're not. It's not going to be the end of the world. We're going to be good. For Dame Annabelle Lee in the chat, no, we're not telling you. You can. I'm sure, Annabelle Lee, if you thought there's one person that we would ask if there was any chance that they would just say yes. Just
we're not. Yeah, you got to ask us. Love, if you want to ask. I know the answer to the question. Like.
All right, so that actually gets us all the way through our questions about the household. There's one goofy question this week, and then we'll check the chat and we'll see how that goes. The goofy question comes from a parkmate of yours, Shen. Wants to know if Little John and Robin Hood are running through the forest, what is Friar Tuck doing?
I don't know, and I don't care.
For anyone interested, Shen really wants. Nope. Okay.
We're not giving him that kind of shout out. Sorry.
Okay.
Shen.
Well, message me if you want to know what that's about.
We could tell the story. It's fine.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I'm a badger. Kodiak's a bear. Shen is a fox. A fox and a bear. Two mischievous people who like to give me a headache, and I accidentally put two and two together and went, it's just like Disney's Robin Hood. And Shen immediately went, well, you're a badger, right? So you're Friar Tuck. And they were talking about giving me a pate for a little while. Like, there was a whole thing. And now I absolutely cannot stand the Robin Hood and Little John running through the forest song because of it. Dramatic, honestly.
Just a point of fact, Devric and Magnahild brought Shen and Iris to our mid-reign. And it was the first time Shen and I have ever met. And immediately this pops off. So whether it's Shen, whether it's me, if it's just Nick's magnetism to the crazy, I don't know. But such good stuff. All right, so it looks like we've Sir Francis did want to point out that most of us are just his redheaded stepchildren.
Every leader at our park is our parental figures. Yeah. I love every single one of them so much.
I always give Dame Annabelle Lee the moniker of the
Mama Ruth.
Yeah, Mama Ruth.
Aunt
Mom. Every Wednesday, even when she wasn't the regent, we were at her house. She was teaching us some arts and crafts. We'd watch movies. I'd usually get food, and we would 2 or 3 hours. Yep, 2 or 3 hours. We'd chat, have good time.
And Sir Francis was there, and a baby.
Oh, that story. Oh my goodness.
No, we're not doing that.
Oh, okay. Well, if anyone ever wants to know about there was a baby and Sir Francis was involved, please please reach out. I am more than willing to share that next week with our other guest. Devric can't stop me at that point. With that being said, Devric, Stormcrest, thank you so much for coming, bud. You are amazing, as always. I can't get enough of your face. I miss you. Stop doing the army and come back to Crucis. That's an order, not a wish.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just for
people do want to know the story.
Oh my goodness. Still help. Additionally, when you make it to clan, you're riding with the order. That's just you're
Real
hanging
talk.
with us. Yeah. You and Tajima, you coming with us.
Oh God. Well, tell the baby story real fast, I guess. So everybody was fighting over my wife. for giving her a belt because my wife is amazing. And she can do all of it. And at Clan, I misinterpreted something that somebody else said and thought they were also offering a belt to her, and I was very sad because I wanted a belt from this person. And oh man, after we got back, Sir Francis and Ruth and my wife and Kodiak were all dropping hints about something, like just little probing little drops, and it was, there's a baby and Sir Francis is involved. There's a baby and Sir Francis. And it got to the point where I was yelling at Kodiak in a parking lot that if he said one more thing about a baby and Sir Francis, I was going to punch him. And then, surprise, surprise, at that end reign, Dame Annabelle Lee came up and gave me my belt, whose name is Baby. And Sir Francis did the leather work on it. Or some of the leather work on it, and that's why they were saying Sir Francis was there and a baby. But they tormented me for weeks about it. They're like, "Do you know about the baby, bud? Link? Do you know about the baby? Do you know about Sir Francis and the baby? Like what?" Like,
it's one of the honors that me and Magna Hilt have together is that we are schemers to the end, and we had a piece of information that Devric just didn't have. So it
was one of the first times they ever pulled one over on me, and they have never let it go, because normally I'm pretty quick to figure things out and put things together, and I had no clue what the fuck they were talking about.
Yeah, it's a great story of a great man getting his Man-at-Arms belt. Well deserved, obviously. Yeah, and if you ever ask for a photo of it, there's a photo of him standing in my house at the time, in street clothes.
Oh, there's a picture out there. There's a picture of me taking my re-enlistment oath in my uniform with it.
Yeah, that's how much that meant to Devric. It's a historical, I would say. Historical.
Just meant a lot to me.
It did, for sure.
It still means a lot to me.
Yeah. All right. Well, Devric, thank you so much again, bud. I do want to get some announcements out before we go. Next week.
Boo. No,
fingers
your
crossed.
political crap on your own show.
Fingers crossed. The Valkyries, a representative from the Valkyries will be on next week. I can't lock down who that is yet, but a member will be here hopefully. If something happens to go sideways with that, Kingdom of Kodiak will turn into an Ask Me Anything. But I wouldn't worry about that too much.
If it goes sideways, I'll be back on. Don't worry.
Additionally, now I am going to put my King's crown on and do monarchs of the local parks. Please go to the Dragon Spine Monarch page and let me know how much longer you're in office and when you're available to talk so that we can talk and organize our kingdom. Thank you. Additionally, this dude is my best friend, and I've had really good episodes with some really great people, but this dude right here, I hate you because you're never around when bud. I get really emotional. You son of a bitch. But for everyone else, thank you for watching Kingdom of Kodiak. I am Kodiak, and until next time, have a great time.
Bye, guys.